I'm Daniel Madison. Thanks for being here. I really do appreciate you choosing to spend a bit of time with me when maybe you've got better things to do. In this video, I wanted to address and answer a question that gets asked to me quite a lot these days. Very recently is a very common question: how do I get booked as a working magician? Now, for anybody who doesn't know who I am Daniel Madison. I create, I perform, and I teach magic, sleight of hand, and close-up deceptions, typically with playing cards, usually specifically with my own playing cards. Many years ago, before I became a teacher, I used to be a performer of close-up magic, close-up deceptions, and sleight of hand with playing cards, usually at smaller venues that cater for close-up environments like parties, nightclubs, pubs, restaurants, weddings, etc. And a lot of people, they learn the skill, they learn the trade, but they're not sure how to get bookings. My knowledge and my experience in this field isn't very vast, it isn't huge, but because so many people are asking me, and the people that I've given this advice to and told this story to, they've taken it and they've achieved something with it. So I thought it would be a good idea to share it with everybody watching, in case anybody's got that question on their mind, or maybe some people out there are some magicians watching this who struggle to get bookings and get gigs at these close-up events where they can show off, showcase their magic, and get more gigs and generate more work. I used to perform constantly. That was my only form of income about 20 years ago when I turned 20. I got out of card cheating and out of being a naughty boy with deceptive practices, and I decided to turn my skills towards a sleight of hand for the use of magic. And for me, I just took the logical steps. I didn't really look into it. I just followed my own path and followed what I thought was the right thing to do, and it turned out to be a good idea. And I worked as a close-up magician for a very long time around Leeds, but then you'll find the more that you work, the more that you get bookings and events. You take about 100 business cards with you a night and you hand 100 business cards out. Out of 100 business cards that you hand out, you might get 2 people calling you, but at least that's 2 more gigs where you can hand out another 100 business cards. It's a bit different these days because of the social networks. Instead of business cards, it's now, oh, you on Facebook, you on Instagram, and it's all on the phone. Still, what I did back then, I got thousands of business cards printed, and nobody knew me or knew my skill. And I did try a few nights going to the clubs and going around pubs and performing magic and handing my business card out and giving myself up for bookings. So if you want to book me, call this number, book me, I'll cost this much. Or sometimes I wouldn't give the amount, and it was a very slow process. It didn't happen as fast as I wanted it to, so I didn't keep doing it. There's that saying, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. I think that's the quote. Anyway, what I decided to do, the clubs that I went to in Leeds, specifically the clubs and the bars on Greek Street in Leeds, I went back to those bars in the daytime when they just opened up, when it was quiet. Thank you. When it was quiet, and I went and I found the manager. So I started off at the bar at the top of the street, and I found the manager, and here's how I got booked. It's quite a funny story that doesn't really end well, but at least I got booked. So I went to the manager and I was straight up with him. I said, I'm a close-up magician. You want more people in here, or you want this place to be a talking point? I can show people close-up magic like this. And I showed him a quick, impactful trick. I believe it was the invisible deck. If you don't know what the invisible deck is, the guy holds a deck of playing cards in a box. And here's my story. I say, just before I came in here, just outside the door, I was showing somebody a trick and I dropped all the cards. I gathered them all up quickly, but I noticed one playing card was face down, the rest were face up. I didn't have time to straighten out the deck. When you're holding that deck, I want you to get a feeling, like see if you can pick up, like see if a playing card comes into your mind, and whichever playing card he names, you take the cards out and you spread and you show that the card he named is face down. Invisible deck. I showed him that. I did show him something else. I think it might have been the Advocate and Pocket Index. Beside the point. The point is, he wasn't into it, but after I showed him 2 powerful tricks, he was like, wow. I saw that he was getting into it and he loved what I did. And instead of saying, book me for this much, I said, I tell you what, I'll come here on Friday night. You don't have to pay me. And you just watch the reaction. Watch what happens. So I did that. The reactions were great. He came straight to me. He's like, I'll pay you £150 for 1 hour. Like, I think it was between 7 and 8. No, it was 6 and 7. And all I had to do was bring people in, create a bit of a reputation talking point for this bar to get people in. And it worked. So all of a sudden I had this one gig on a Friday between 6 and 7 where I was getting £150 for 1 hour. Not bad for 1 hour, especially 20 years ago. Not bad 20 years ago, but still £150 a week when I had to rely on other gigs. It wasn't good. So what I did, the next day, I went to the next bar in the daytime and I did exactly the same thing. And I says, you know, here's some tricks. I'll come here for free. I'll create a talking point, get people in, pay me £150 between 7 and 8. I'll do an hour. And he said yes. So I went to the next bar and I went to the next bar and I went to the next bar. So all of a sudden I owned Greek Street in Leeds. 6 till 7 hours in this bar. I won't name the bars. 6 until 7 hours in this bar. As soon as I finished, 7 till 8 I was in the other bar. 8 till 9 the other bar, and so on all the way down the street. And all of a sudden I was earning like £1,000 for one night out. Every Friday night I'd have a good night out in Leeds doing tricks, practicing new things, but also getting bookings at the same time. So I'd be making a lot of money on that Friday. But then also I'd be handing out thousands of business cards, and I would get called, I would get booked for weddings, for private parties, and I no longer had to hustle. So that number one hustle that I did on those streets was the one thing that put me on the map and got me all the bookings from so many different people. Because you go to a wedding, you hand out your business cards, somebody else books you, and so forth. As long as you keep accepting bookings and keep going. But it didn't last long, the bookings on the street. Eventually the bar managers found out that I was doing that. So the first bar said, I found out you're doing the same thing for the competition for the other bar, so you're sacked basically. And then the other guy said the same thing, found out what you've been doing, you're sacked. And it got down to one bar, so I was just working at one bar and I decided it wasn't good enough. And that's how I began my gigs. But at that point, when I lost all those gigs, I was already being booked enough for private parties and weddings and restaurants and special events. I didn't need that anymore. But I think the message I wanted to give in this video, the lesson, is the initiative and the creative approach to getting a booking by doing something for free. Give somebody a booking for free. Go out on nights out on your own, take a deck of playing cards, do nothing but tricks all night long, constantly handing your business cards out, constantly making it aware that everybody knows that you are a performing, a working magician. And another tip that I will give you that I started to bring into it, when people figured out that I didn't have a manager, all of a sudden it meant that I wasn't worth a certain amount. So eventually I decided to create a fictional manager. So my business card now said a false name on it with a false email. It was a real email address and a real phone number, but the person who answered those emails and answered those phone calls, it was me pretending to be my manager. This did two things. The first thing, it made me look more important than I was. And at the same time, I didn't have to give a cut of the earnings to a manager. But the second thing is, it allowed me the freedom to negotiate without feeling too bad, because it wasn't me. Like if I take a phone call and somebody says, I want to book you for 2 hours for 20 quid, I'd be like, nah, I think I'm worth a bit more than that. How about 100? And they say, no, okay, end of call, I'll book another magician. Whereas if you're a manager, you can negotiate so much more, because it's not you. You remove yourself from the situation and it becomes a negotiation, and it becomes a bartering process that's much easier to do when it's not you directly. I've never been really too good at that, because I'm the creative, I'm the performer. I never have that mind because I just want to perform. So when you take yourself out of that and you put yourself in the mindset of a manager and you pretend to be a manager, it makes everything so much easier. I don't want this video to go on too much longer. I just wanted to share those thoughts while they were in my mind and hopefully answer a question that could have been up in people's minds, and it might inspire you to get a little bit creative with your approach to getting bookings and generating more bookings. Times have changed since then though, man. It was like 20 years ago, so maybe everything is completely different now. So I hope you got something from this video. Thanks for watching if you still are, and if you enjoyed this kind of video, if you want more advice like this, let me know in the comments, and I look forward to making more content like this. I'm Daniel Madison. See you next time.